there is a very powerful witch named Lydia, and she's like a very old witch. Ugh, I keep saying witch. Hi everyone, today I'll be doing a wrap-up video, and this will be my end of the year wrap-up, since end of 2014 wrap-up. So all the books I read towards the end of 2014. I think my last wrap-up was back in very long wrap-up video, which I think had like 20 books, 10 books. I'm not sure, but yeah. This is just gonna be a continuation from then. If you guys want to see what books I read towards the end of 2014, just keep watching. So the first book I read after my very long wrap-up was In the Afterlife, of course. In the Afterlife. If you don't know, In the Afterlife is the third book to the Darkest Minds trilogy, and it's also the last book. I'm not gonna go into detail about this because it's a very complicated book. It's very complicated, so I'm pretty sure you guys heard about it, so I'm not gonna go into detail about it. In the Afterlife is the third and final book to the Darkest Minds trilogy, and it's not my favorite. So I don't know if it's just me, or I think it's just me, but for all three books, right? Even though I love the first two, when I read it, it's like it doesn't process in my head. I'll read like a page, right? And I'll be like, I'll stop myself and I'll be like, wait, what did I just read? And I'll go back and read it, and I'll be like, I don't remember this at all. So I don't know if it's just me, or it's the wording of the book, or if I don't know if it's like how the book is written or anything. It's probably how the book is written and how I read and stuff. So I think that's just a me thing. But anyways, I really enjoyed it. Not as much as the first two, but I really enjoyed it. And of course, I love Chubbs and Vida. The ending was okay. It was okay. I am giving the book a 4 out of 5. Not my favorite. Not my favorite, but Chubbs will always be my favorite in the book. I like Ruby. Liam's okay, but Chubbs and Vida are like they're like my new OTP. Spoiler. I'm not sure if she's gonna write any more about this book, in this series and stuff, like a novella or something. But I want to know what happened with Chubbs and Vida on that trip to Texas. Was it Texas? But on that trip, right? I want to know what happened, because if you guys read it, you guys know a lot of things happened there. So the second book I read, the second and last book I read in November was Sister's Fate, and Sister's Fate was the third book to the Cat Hill Chronicles. Okay, no, the Cat Hill Witch Chronicles. I was about to say the Born Wicked trilogy, but it's not called the Born Wicked trilogy, and I'm not gonna. It's like I keep saying that so much that it's like engraved in my head. Again, this is the third book to a trilogy, so I'm not gonna give out much information. But the Cat Hills Chronicles is about three sister witches who fit this prophecy, and one is gonna be like the leader of the witch. One is gonna kill one of the other witches, and one witch is gonna die. And then set back in the 18th century is kind of, I'm not sure, but everything Victorian, I think 18th century style. You have the Brotherhood, who is like, oh, if you're a witch, they're gonna burn you because they don't like witches, and they don't want to be put out of power, and they don't want to be ruled by a bunch of girls. So yeah, a couple of my recent videos, I've talked about this book. I talked about the series, especially the second book, how I don't like Mora, little girl. Every time she comes on screen, it's like, girl, go away. Yeah, the only character I liked was the little sister. I forgot Tess. I liked her. She's very mature for her age. Katniss. Kate could have grown up a little bit. I just want to slap Mara. And she needs to grow up, and she needs to just leave. Like, I ended up giving the book a 4 out of 4. 4 out of 4. I ended up giving the book a 4 out of 5, and actually for the whole series it's a 4 out of 5. But that was it for my November books. Now on to December. So December was kind of weird for me. I was in a mood to read vampire books, right? Because around December of 2013 I read the Vampire Academy series. I read Vampire Academy, and y'all know my love for Vampire Academy. And so I was on the web googling, and then came upon this book that led me to this book. And the book that I ended up picking up was The Rest Falls Away by Colleen Gleason. I have a book review for this, so It's a very long book to read. It's part of a 5-book series called the Gardella's Vampire Hunters, and this was the first book to that. So the first book was The Rest Falls Away, and at first I didn't know if I want to read it, but then it's about vampire, and it was set back in like the 18th centuries too, so I was like, you know what, it doesn't hurt to read it, so I read it. In the first book, it follows Victoria Gardella, who is an heir to this vampire hunter line, and like she was chosen to be a vampire hunter, and she could either choose to accept her destiny or reject her vampire hunter destiny, and she chose to accept it. So on her coming out party, she has to kill a vampire in order to like pass the test and all that stuff. So of course she became a vampire hunter, so she did kill her first vampire. A little something happened in between, but I'm not gonna talk about that. And then that's the beginning. So like she had this dream and all that stuff, and then yeah, so like that's the beginning. So with that put aside, so like there's this powerful witch. This very old powerful witch. She's like the leader of the witch. Great, I went from witch to vampire. So there's this very powerful vampire called Lydia, and she's a very old vampire. She's very old, so like the older of a vampire you are, the more powerful you become. So she's like very old. She's like the daughter to the original vampire. She's looking for this book called the Book of Agatha. I'll put the book here. I don't know. I'll put the book here. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm really bad at pronunciation, so I'm not even gonna try. So Lydia. So the vampire is looking for this book because there's the book will give her like secrets and all that stuff in order to like rule the war or rule the vampire empire and all that stuff, and how to like prevent herself from getting killed from like vampire hunters and all that stuff. And so like Victoria and this other vampire hunter Max basically try to get the book and hide it from Lydia from getting her hands on it, because if she gets her hands on it, then of course bad stuff's gonna happen. And then yeah, that's basically the thing. And then Victoria just deals with like her vampire hunter life, and then her love life, her personal life, and all that stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I did not expect myself to like this book as much as I did. This book was like an adult Vampire Academy novel. I mean, there were a lot of similarities to Vampire Academy, but at the same time, it stands on its own. I really like Victoria. I loved what she did at the end. Even though it's heartbreaking, I love what she did at the end, and that's exactly what Rose would do. That's exactly what Rose did. Like, what she did at the end, that's exactly what Rose did, except she's a little bit more successful in what she did compared to Rose. Victoria, and then Victoria has like these three suitors for her. Sebastian, Philip, and Max. Love Max, hate Sebastian, and Philip is just stupid. So, overall, I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5, not quite 5. There's just something missing from it, and I can't put my hand on it. I think if she and Max got together, it would have been a 5 out of 5. But like they can't stand each other, so that's never gonna happen. If you guys like the Vampire Academy novel and you guys don't really care about like the sex stuff in here, go ahead and read it because it's a really good book. Oh, and I love the fight scenes. The fight scenes are amazing in here, and I like the way she describes it. I could see it in my head, and then it was really good. And then the second book I read in December. The second to the last book I read in December was the second book to the Gardella's Vampire Hunter series, which was Rise of the Night. And Rise of the Night, so this book takes place about a year after the Rise of the Night ended. Rise of the Night. This book takes place a year after The Rest Falls Away ended. Victoria has just come out of mourning. She's by herself. Well, she's not by herself, but she has her aunt and her maid and all that stuff, but she doesn't have Max. And Max was kind of like her partner in crime. She finds out that there's these vampire helpers that help vampires feed and all that stuff. They help get like victims for vampires to feed and all that stuff. And she finds out that they're trying to rise. They're trying to get these this demon to rise, or this demon power to rise into like to one of their vampire leaders. And she goes to Rome. She actually goes to Rome to find out who this vampire leader is, and who is the leader of like the vampire helpers, she goes to Rome, and she finds out that Max have joined the group with them, which was surprising. But anyways, yeah, that's basically, she just tries to find ways to like destroy it and stop them before they're able to unleash the demon power. This book, I don't know if I should do a full review on it because there's a lot I need to say about this book. The emotions I went through this book was like, ugh. I really enjoyed this book. It kept me on my feet, and I did not know what was gonna happen, and what ended up happening shocked me. Like what ended up happening at the end, like shocked me, and it was amazing. Like it gave me feelings I did not want to feel. It was like, ugh, gross. But I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was a high 4 out of 5 because it's just, again, it was missing that something. I think it's missing like Max, and it was just missing that something. I think that something was like her getting together with Max, because I don't like her with Sebastian, flat out. I don't like her with Sebastian. I was just, oh, you know what? I'll just make a new review. I'll just make another video tomorrow and talk about this book, because I got a lot of things to say about Sebastian. The last book I read for 2014 was The Bleeding Dusk, of course. The third book to the Gardella's Vampire Hunters series, and of course I have to continue reading it after the second one. So in this book, Victoria finds out that there's a demon that has been awoken, and the demon is looking to open this lab that has a book of ingredients of like very powerful potions, all that stuff. And in order to get into that lab, they need 3 keys. Vampire, the demon, and vampire are working together in order to get the keys and all that stuff. And like people are showing up with their head cuts and all that, their head like gone and all that stuff. A really good book, just missing that one thing, and I think that one thing was her and Max, but you know, there was something happened. Oh, the ending, I was like, I don't know what it is about this book. I think it's the writing, or how like the description she has and all that stuff, but it just gave me feelings that I did not want to feel, and it's just like, ugh. In this book, it's like it gave me those feelings, not those feelings, but like I could feel it happening to me. It's just like, ugh. Oh, I'm shaking. This book, I just like could feel everything happening to me, and it was like really disgusting. I gave it a 4 out of 5, high 4 out of 5, like towards almost a 5. Almost a 5 if she like just stopped being around freaking Sebastian. I don't like Sebastian. And yeah, that's it. That's it for my video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.